If your Instagram reach is down, you feel hopeless, you feel like you've tried everything and nothing is getting your content in front of people, you're going to like this video because we're breaking down some things you can do right now to get your reach back up again. And the last one, no one is talking about, but it's what every big creator does. These are the same things I have been doing to get the reach back up on my account. Now, in my last video, 2 videos ago, I showed you how I was finally growing my account again. And then at the end, I revealed my reach had plummeted yet again. Now it is negative 45%. But I didn't quit. I kept going in on the research, and this is what I found. The big mistake most creators make is when we think about reach, we think about the reach of one piece of content, or we just think about how many people who are not following us are seeing our content so that we can get more followers. But your reach is so much more than that. It's all about engagement on your overall account, not just the likes, the comments, the saves, and the shares on one video. It's what's going on the entire account. Remember, the algorithm wants people to stay as long as possible on their app. So if they find an account that keeps people on their account a long time, that signals to the algorithm that this account needs to be shown to more people because it will get people to stay on the app longer. So in order to do that, not only do we have to create content that will attract our ideal person, we have to think of a big picture. What's going to happen when that person sees our reel, our post, and comes back to our account for the first time? What are they looking at, and what do we need to do to make sure that they are binging our content once they get to our account, which will signal to the algorithm that we've got an account worth putting in front of more people. The first thing that happens when someone finds your content from the Explore page or the Reels page, or maybe someone shared you to their stories, is they look at your bio. They look at your picture, they look at what you do and what they would get if they were to follow your account. So we need a good head and shoulder picture of you looking at the camera. We need to know what people will get if they follow you and how you're going to give it to them. Then we need to know why you know what you know, and then we need a call to action so that you can get people to click on the link in your bio. The algorithm checks how many profile visits you get. It checks how many people click on your link. All of that is playing into this big picture of your reach. Next thing they do after they see your profile picture is they start to scan down your grid, the last 12 posts, because that's what pops up on their phone when they're looking at it. And if you don't make it very clear that you are delivering on that promise you made in the bio, if you don't make it easy for us to read the titles, if you don't have some branding elements like repeated colors, repeated symbols that reflect what you do, you're going to be forgettable. They will not take you as seriously. I'm not saying you should worry about the aesthetics of your feed. I'm saying you should be mindful of what people see when they come to your account. Because if it's hard to read, they're less likely to binge your content. You've got about 7 seconds to convince this person that your content is worth binging. So far, all they've done is look at your bio and glanced at your grid. Now we've got to get them to binge your content. And if we think about the 7, is it the marketing rule of 7? Is that what they call it? Let me look it up real quick. Marketing rule of 7s. If we think about the marketing rule of 7s, they also are going to need 7 interactions with you before they decide if they're going to buy into you. In this case, before they decide if they're going to follow you or not. So we need them to be interacting or watching 7 pieces of your content. They're either going to go to your stories or they're going to start clicking on more of your reels. You may already know this. You may already know that you need a stories strategy. I know that. I've got it in my program in module 4, but sometimes we become slackers. Let's get reminded. We need a refresher. In your stories, that's where people want to see who you really are behind the scenes. That's where people want to see the part of you that's not necessarily about your niche. That's where they want to see if you really know what you're talking about. What would they get if they were to follow you and they go to your stories on any given day? So you need to make sure you've got fun behind the scenes. You are giving educational content. You're proving to people that you actually do help people get results. All of that should be in your stories at least 5 days a week. Now, to win points with the algorithm in your stories, you got to get people to actually watch your stories. So things you don't want to do, because people will exit out of your stories real fast, is only show what you put on the feed to your stories. You also don't want to always have the exact same format, like all video or all pictures or all graphics. That's boring. They will click out. You also don't want to document every second of your day to the point that you've got 40 little dashes up there because people will exit out. My rule of thumb is to post 3 to 7. If I post too many as the day goes on and as all those dashes start to appear, I get fewer and fewer eyeballs. Another way to score points with engagement in stories is to use the stickers Instagram provides, like the poll sticker, the question sticker, the reaction stickers. Before we get into the type of content that you need to have on your reels, if you want people to binge your content, if you want your reach to go up with your content, let's talk about the key rules of engagement. You want to make sure that you are responding to all the comments under all of your posts, that you are liking the comments of those that you replied to before you go and post your next video. That's warming up the algorithm. It's signaling to all the people who commented, oh, she's online. You also want to be commenting on posts of some of the people that comment on yours. And I always like to go in and comment on people who are in my niche, people that I regularly engage with. All of this is warming up the algorithm so that your content you're about to post is going to be seen by more people. So yes, I was doing all of those things, but I want to show you what's really moved the needle when it comes to my reach. See, in that last video when we talked about how I was growing my account again, I was showing you how I was paying close attention to the reels that were clearly being shown to a lot of people who are not already following me. But since making that video, something new has popped up in my notifications that's helping me take an even deeper dive into those videos that are getting pushed to people who are not following me. So if I click the heart, now my notifications pop up. And as you can see, I can now see where people have followed me from a specific reel because they put the cover image next to the notification that these people started following me from a reel. So now I know by looking through all of this that I can go deep onto these videos that are bringing people to my account and getting people to follow me. Not only do I want to go in and see what I was talking about in that video, how I started the video, but also how long was the video. So the latest video that's bringing in the most followers is only 26 seconds long. This is my Instagram story strategy that I stole from Chip and Joanna Gaines. In this video, I showed my personality, I put a little humor in there, and I gave very simple, actionable tips that they could turn around and use right now, which gives them the feeling of excitement. So maybe I got them to laugh, maybe I got them excited. I also shared a little bit of a story there about how I'm obsessed with Chip and Joanna Gaines, and they've gotten me to buy all these things before I got into the video. And that brings me to the next point of what the big creators do that so many people don't do and that nobody is talking about.
This is a topic that I have a lot of experience with.
I'm going to dissect Mel Robbins, author and motivational speaker, but she's famous because of what she does, that if you start doing this, you will get more engagement in your content because you will get people to feel seen. You will get them to feel emotions when they watch your content. Number one is her body language. She leans into the camera and she looks right into the camera lens, and you can always see at least one of her hands because this helps you connect with the person when you can see their hand gestures when they're talking.
If you're going through a really hard time.
Number two, she almost always uses the word you or yours in the very first sentence and makes it feel like she is only talking to you. This is something else she does. She's constantly walking and talking and waking up in bed and driving down the road and going on hikes or hanging out in her backyard. She's just doing everyday stuff that makes her uber relatable, even though she's a multi-millionaire and famous person. And almost always after she has her hook, she goes into an analogy or a story. And when you do that, you hijack the viewer's brain. Their brain can't help but see what you're talking about, which sets them up to feel something as you go and explain how this is going to help them. It also gets them to want to watch until the end because now you've locked them into a story. Now for the results. I saved this for the very last minute in case things changed, but as of now, my reach has gone up 206% 10% in the last week. When it comes to people not following me, my reach has gone up 392%. And it's all because I am locked in on what is working, what my ideal person wants, but I'm using storytelling and analogies, and I'm keeping it less than 27 seconds. Now, your 27 seconds may be a different number. You've got to figure that out. Now, if you really want to double down on this strategy to increase your reach on Instagram, then watch this video right here. It talks about the mistakes you want to avoid that will kill your reach, but it also gives you a content strategy plan so you know what to put in your videos to get them to feel all the feels we talked about.